Welcome back and thanks for staying with us. So we've been getting a lot of comments on YouTube, a lot of comments on Twitter, I'm sure as well, but YouTube is agog with comments concerning this financial matter. And like I asked before we had that caller, that is it possible for a financially empowered woman to have a successful marriage? And Mariam gave us a beautiful context, which I think is extremely important, that we need to understand our history. That what men are expecting is what they've been brought up to expect. But sadly, women are now brought up to be financially empowered. And financial empowerment gives you freedom. When you have money, it gives you liberty to do what you want to do. So it is a case of, do I want this marriage? Or do I want, if I don't want it, I now have the liberty to, I have that financial empowerment to take that step out or remain in. And it gives, I think it should make men even more happy when they have a financially empowered woman that is married to them, because it means that I'm doing everything right. That's why she's still here.
No, but I wanted to respond to Mariam earlier when she made that comment that, you know, the active word here is the power to live, not the staying power. You know, every woman wants to get married. When we were raised, we have the beautiful dreams, whether he's wealthy, whether it's, you know, when you get into marriage, you're looking for a kind person. You're looking for someone you can live with, someone who doesn't make you find somewhere to hide in your home. You know, if those things are missing, you'll now be looking for the means to live. So we talk about women who, their spouses and them travel the japa and they get abroad and find out, oh, the laws benefit women here. I get this much power, okay. Just see a monster develop. And so when we talk about why women live because they live with means or they get the means to live and they live, we are failing to address the lack of a good character in marriage that make women stay. You see some women, they're not asking for too much. Basics. Maybe a roof over their head, a small place to call their own. You know, if they don't, some don't even mind sharing the place as long as they're in love and the person is making them feel in love. I have a friend, her husband and herself, you can never hear their voice. They don't have so much, they're just okay. You understand? When he wakes up in the morning, you won't know that he's broke. You just say, in fact, his phone was stolen and my friend went to take a loan from our own office to buy her husband a phone. They don't shout. When he comes in the morning, he's helping her with the kids. They do everything together. You see why she doesn't...
That's peace of mind.
She has peace of mind.
If tomorrow you heard, not them, if tomorrow you heard that they got divorced, how will you feel?
I won't be surprised. Things can happen.
Yeah. Let me talk
Maybe
about,
she changes her mind.
Another angle.
Well, it won't be because of means that she left.
Where someone can be a good father or a good mother, but not such a good partner.
Yeah, easy.
Like you've seen there is a good provider, is a good father, is a good mother, but to you as a person, it's just not, you're not, it's not working. It's not meeting that emotional need or whatever need. What was the conversation somebody was having with me? This person is in the abroad. They are going through, they've been separated right now. And he was telling me, he said, what is emotional unavailability? That how can I, what's she saying by I'm emotionally unavailable? I'm emotionally unavailable. If the car she's driving, the house she's living, I just changed the car for her this year. She said I'm emotionally unavailable. I said the fact that you're asking that question, it shows that you have not been emotionally available. So this conversation, then I came to ask my husband, do you know what emotional availability is? He said me too, I've heard it before. I don't understand what these women are saying.
Who did you ask?
So obviously there is a word called emotional availability. It's a love, it's at ties with the love language of quality time. And it is something a lot of women appreciate, but a lot of men do not understand. Please, can you ladies help me to explain emotional availability to our wonderful men who are watching right now, are trying to save their marriage?
First of all, for men, just reduce the ego. The ego and the pride is really much. If you can just bring it down a little bit, it will really help a lot of women. A woman needs affection. She wants affection. She wants you to show it. Show it. Oh, she wears something beautiful. Compliment her. Compliment her at every instance. And when you are trying to correct your woman, correct her in love. Not for you to come, you know, what kind of food is this? Why did you do this? Why did you do? There are ways that you can, you know, talk to your wife. Talk to her in a lovely way that she will understand you and she will relate and she will do everything for you. For example, she goes to work, you send her a message, hope you got there, check up on her, follow up on her. I'm telling you, once you do all of these things for a woman, she will give you her best. She'll give you her very best. And men are going through a whole lot when it comes to providing, to be sincere. Because if you see the burden, especially the African man, he's the one that will provide everything. And, you know, when a woman works, for example, I can't meet my husband for everything that my parents ask me for. There are some times that I want to do some things for my parents. If I'm not working, how do I provide those things? And there are some things, whether we like it or not, there's this little family secret between me and my family and my husband and his own family. I can't every time go and burden my husband. Give me money, let me give my mother for this. My cousin is ill, I want to get money for this. So if a woman is working, she'll be able to control those parts
as well.
Yes, exactly. So I think those are
Mariam wants to take a...
Yeah, so you started with if there were relationships where...
Oh, let me take this caller. I'm so sorry. Mukhtar, welcome to the show. Calling all the... Oh, I'm really sorry, Mukhtar. I totally forgot about you temporarily.
Oh.
Next time you call back.
Yeah.
Immediately.
Yes, okay. So earlier you had said people who are fantastic fathers, but not... But if you have friends or you've spoken to people who are divorced but are co-parenting well, you would hear that they would describe the person as a fantastic father or fantastic mother, but somehow they just can't get it. You know, they just can't get it right between them, and there's nothing that they have tried. So it happens, definitely. And I think also that's where maybe the emotional availability comes, because let's say the father, you provide the necessary things that many women maybe expect. You're paying rent, you're paying for school fees, there's food, you know, clothing. If you have means, maybe travel once in a while, you know, you're able to do all that, but you're just not connecting with your partner, man or woman. And it's the emotional availability. And I don't think there's like a one
definition for it.
Yes, I don't think that there's one solution for this emotional availability. It's not as if okay, you need to be kind, you need to be whatever. Yes, all those things are important, but you find a person who is kind, who is respectful still, will be with a partner who does not feel that you're connecting with them emotionally. So it means that it needs to be suited, customized to your relationship that you have, your wife or your husband. What are the things that they are dealing with? What are their insecurities that they are dealing with, and how do you respond to those situations? When I come to you and I'm ranting about something, sometimes men go quickly into fix-it mode. Let me do it for you. What is it that you want? Oh, you want more money. Sometimes I just want you to sit down and just hear me rant. And rant a lot. You may not rant with me, but, you know, just pat me on the back. Sometimes, even when I'm wrong, at least be on my side, you know, something like that. So you have different people with their different baggages, different trauma. Are you available? Are you able to fill in for that person, you know, at that time? So sometimes that is what it means, to just connect to that person emotionally. Sometimes we have some women who have like serious PMS symptoms, you know, and then you don't see it. You've been married to this woman for 10 years. You're still complaining about this thing. You know, meanwhile, I will never forget, there was this boy when we were in university, his girlfriend, he and his girlfriend were my friends. And every time she's about to run her period, he'll be boiling water, he'll be putting water. I'm like, what taught you these things? He just knew all the things that he needed to do. Yes, he just knew all the, I'm telling you. So during that period, when she does not stay with us, she goes straight there where they will take care of her, you know. He didn't have, in fact, that particular relationship, it was obvious she had like more of the money and everything, but he was able to connect with her emotionally as well. So sometimes we see the provider part, we see the strong, confident part, but sometimes we need...
Can we also be women, African women? Because this example you gave just reminded me. We know where our support is. It does not have to be with the spouse. You know, we are blessed. I have sisters, I have, you know... So I know the things I give to Zibiri. You cannot handle some things.
True. No, but emotional availability is what we're trying to understand.
I have some post-traumatic situation I'm dealing with, and we were in it together. He was there, and you would think he would know. But I swear to God, you know nothing. Like, do you want to share? I'll be like, can you handle? And I always know. I don't give him that burden. Don't even test him. He will fail. Forget it. Once you start giving him, there was a time in my marriage where we tried to share some of those kind of things. And it was like, it was traumatic for him to hear that I had to go through all of that. Ever since then, no matter how Kenny is pretending to be, I don't bother.
Do you know what you're saying
bother.
and brings up this fantastic conversation, which is modern marriages expect the marriages to be everything.
Everything.
Yes.
You know, even families, they cannot be everything to you and you cannot be everything to them. You know, we're also talking about important communities like relationship with our sisters.
Friends.
It is very important. There are some things that
those
men,
of us that
no
don't
matter
have
how much they love and care for us.
Talk about that's your mistake. I have several best friends.
Yes.
Each friend for their purpose. Each friend, they have their, I don't waste my time. If I tell you you're my best friend, trust me, you are, because there's something you're doing for me that you underestimate.
Yes.
I feel in everybody when I know they can. There's a time when I want to rant. My husband was shocked to find out that as close as I am to Auntie Bimbo, there were things I never said to her. And I lived with her. There are things I say, don't ever bring this kind of thing to her. She go help you scatter them. Because she can handle them. Understand people. There are things I would say, if I tell Miriam this thing, my own don't finish.
Yes.
Like today.
You know? So
I couldn't tell you.
So I will not bother. But there are certain things that, no, Miriam is the one that I need right now. That's how marriages work. You compensate accordingly. You don't expect, yes.
I like that.
You know,
You're saying you're
so the
expecting that
sister-
we should be emotionally, you should have a level of emotional intelligence that will help you handle everybody you meet, and don't judge a fish by how well it can climb a tree, because it is a fish.
Yeah, it would swim.
It's swimming that is his area of strength. So let's learn.
and also understand his background, her background.
Yeah.
And for me, I think you should add
I have
this.
a call. Let me take this call immediately.
Hello.
Bright, welcome to the show. Good morning.
Good morning,
Yeah.
ladies.
Very well, thank you.
My name is Bright Philip, calling from Songo. I'm a first-time caller.
Yay!
Bright.
Okay. Concerning the issue on ground, actually, based on my own view, I can say one of the reasons why one of the causes of divorce in marriage is actually, let me say, this movement, recent movement has been taken over by ladies, this gender equality. The way some ladies actually handle that movement is actually one of the causes of divorce. When we look at history, normally a man is supposed to be the head of the family and the woman is supposed to be submissive. But most women see being submissive as weakness, not knowing that it is actually strength. Once you are submissive to your husband, it actually makes your husband love you more. We can look at the story of Esther in the Bible. When the king called his Israel wife, Vashti, to come out for a banquet, he wasn't submissive. She refused to come out. But when he married Esther, she was actually submissive, and the king had to do everything she asked for. So when you are submissive to your husband, it actually makes the marriage last. It adds an additional spice in the marriage, and the man loves you more. But when you try to claim equality with your husband, actually causes, concerning what the other man said about working class ladies, most ladies, when they start working and they start earning money, they find it difficult to submit to their husbands, and I think that's one of the causes of divorce in marriage.
Okay. Thank you, Bright. We understood you, and then you now went back to where we had left. So Bright was talking about gender equality and the way some women carry the matter on their head, like, oh, we are now equal in this marriage, we're equal partners, we're together, and it is preventing submission. He's a proponent of submission. He also mentioned that when women now have money, they find it difficult to submit, which is what leads to divorce. But when you ask the women, for every woman that the man thinks divorced based on her financial empowerment, why they divorced, you will hear a totally different story.
Exactly.
Well, you hear things like emotionally unavailability. You will listen to things like lack of communication. You will listen to things like disrespect. A lot of men don't realize that women feel disrespected as well. Like it comes across like it is a man that feels disrespected, but it can also be a case where a woman can feel disrespected.
Papa, I hear you. What you said is true, but it's not blanket. It's not for everyone. There are some women, because they have more money, they feel that they're better off without you anyway,
So
and they move on.
now we're
So let's not, let's not make it seem that there are no relationships. Yeah, I'm just saying to that there are no relationships where the man is a good man and the woman just realizes I have more money and I'd rather be with someone I think is better. That also happens. But when we're talking about the emotional availability, I think I emphasized a lot on the woman, and I wanted to say about the man as well. And what I see with men is that they have figured out quickly where to get their emotional whatever from. Either we call them, those ones we call them mommy's boys, that know that they will get no judgment or criticism when they go straight to Bobby. Or we have those who hang out with their buddies because they can be as open to them about some things. Some men will say that they are unable to to be honest with their wives about their financial situation.
Yeah.
Because it will cause problems. Not that she will hate him, but not even judge, but that she may not be able to handle it. Just like, Nima was saying, there are some things her husband will never be able to understand, no matter how much he loves her. There are some things men also feel that we are unable to give them. And for them, I see that they complain less about that and figure themselves out. But I think we have, especially the modern woman has found a way to, want to have the man be the everything for that marriage or for her. And that's why it's important that you develop all types of relationships, the husband-wife relationship, your group of sisters relationship, your colleagues, those sort of things. And everybody feeds you different things at different times. And I feel that when you're able to get that, then you're even a better, wholesome person in the marriage for each other.
I feel that we should go back to growing apart. I think it's a very, very strong topic, a point that Mayam raised earlier, and that we should dig into it a bit more, because you can have two good people marry themselves in love at the same level, and as life happens to them 10 years, 20 years down the line, they have totally become two different people who now feel like they don't have anything in common again. And you spoke about spirituality, you mentioned financially, you mentioned intellectually. But guess what? Fitness is also something, some people grow more fit. And then there was a conversation I listened to. The person was like, you and I were eating potatoes and chips together. Suddenly you're saying no more salt, no more meat, and you want me to suddenly join you in no more salt, no more meat. All of us were eating meat together just yesterday, eating cake together, eating pizza. Because you now become a fit person does not mean I would become a fit person like that. And sometimes we are expecting that I have become. You should become. If you cannot become, then we don't have things in common. In the growing journey, how do we ensure that we are taking cognizance of our partners as we are growing? So you are going for Harvard, you are paying for her to go to boys' school, or as she's going to Oxford, you are going to Cambridge. Both of you are encouraging one another.
That thing, I read it, I hear it, I fear they catch me, because something must give. Who is going to hold the home? We play down this thing so much, Two of you can't be so overly ambitious without something giving. I don't know how you do the balance, except you have a very good support system.
You can do balance.
Trusted family members. You can't hire all the hands to raise your kids. The fact is that when you focus on such an ambitious move, something will give with the kids.
Let me take
you then have
Francis
to hire
hands. Now, I hear you, and I see that it can be valid in some situation, but we can give a few tools that can help some people manage the situation. Francis, welcome to the show. Good morning.
Yeah, thank you very much. I have listened to this conversation, and it's very, very, very important to me as a person. I see this divorce, these issues, is tied to one problem called it doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter.
That problem of it doesn't matter is really what is tearing homes.
Exactly.
What am I saying? One of you said something like, you can drop a towel and the man or the woman will playfully say, I don't like this. And you just fear, is it not just this towel I dropped here? What is it about? Exactly. The second time it happened, he speaks or she speaks. Whatever I say now is for both parties, so that I will not be saying double.
No problem.
Once it's down and one person is saying, no, it's not supposed to be so. That little thing that we consider it doesn't matter. As a man, let me even say this. I our attitude as men, some of us, or majority of us, for me as a person, if I'm coming back, I start removing my shirt from outside. Once I'm down from the car, and that shirt may not go with me into the room, it might just end up in the parlor. And the woman is complaining. There's a complaint. She will pick it up, but she's complaining. Over time, it becomes she will not be able to tell another person that this is my problem. But that is just the problem. It's on both sides. You see, I use the word, it doesn't matter. That thing you feel doesn't matter. It's actually what is tearing things apart. I will go with my beloved Nima. You know, sometimes when she wants to say the thing that is very thick, you will hear her switch to pidgin English. Let me switch a little and say this. The thing where now those things where we think it don't matter. Now those small things they worry us.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
I wrote it under taking each other for granted or even see finish. But you know, Nima gave us a tool earlier, and we've said it a bit, understanding each person. So I explain it because my husband taught me. There are things that I used to complain about. And he would tell me, I don't complain about everything that you do wrong. I look at something and just be like, I can live with it. I'll manage it. And even though I don't like it, I'll just continue picking it up after you. So there's a new trend in my house where we have a new rug somewhere. And so because I don't want shoes on the rug, he would have to remove his shoe before climbing. But when we drop that shoe there, it can be dirty the next 2 days. Nobody touch it. So I don't even think, if he watches this show, this is the first time he's hearing about it. We don't even discuss it. Once we are going up, he will stand up and go up without the shoe. Me, I will now help him carry the shoe and follow him with the shoe. We don't need to discuss it. There are bigger issues that are on ground that I would need him to change. But if it is this one of carry shoe, don't worry. Let me just carry the shoe. Let's not turn this one into Sermon on the Mount. There's no need to turn it into TEDx conversation. I'll just pick it. So I think that even in relationships, there are things that you feel, if it's something you can overlook it. You might decide to let him know, I'm overlooking this because this is more important to me, but let's discuss it. In terms of growing, I do believe that there are seasons of sacrifice, but we can grow together. Yes, we can actually grow together. I might be doing business. When I was doing my business program with LBS, I was in constant conversation with, it was all my case study. He read it because I sent it to him. I was sleeping on the island and he was doing school run, so he couldn't have been there with me at the same time. Similarly, when he found a book that is interesting, he will share it with me.
That means you have answered me now.
We can...
No, you just answered me, talking
how we can go about
both of you can do it.
Both of you cannot be at LBS.
Yes, we can both be.
But you must make the effort
to educate the person about what you're doing. So
what
will happen is the other person will not know what is going on.
There's something BRF used to say that, it's not all knowledge that you must get from the 4 walls of the school. Some people are PhD products just by what they read on their own. But because they don't have a PhD in front of their name, you underestimate their knowledge. Yeah. So he got an LBS degree from reading your materials, and yet kept the home. You know, when we
and hopefully he's satisfied with just that.
Yes, yes, and he's satisfied. He's not, and it's okay. Tokwe had done this, Tokwe is doing this, and the home is working. When we say it, because I was at a conference several months back, and somebody was talking, I'm a doctor, and my wife, I was like, who can carry the children? Here they pretend. Because I'm an Yolu person. I'm always saying to Yolu, if my husband and myself decide to fly out of the country today, I will have to fall back. Imagine that there's no Yolu. That's the truth. And so homes must understand that growth, you must be willing to forgive that I have grown, but my spouse couldn't grow because they made the sacrifice.
Yes, we
want
something
to grow.
There will come a time where he will need it too, and she'll be there.
Teamwork.
Yes, yes, we are on the same team. There was a particular, what's her name, Mrs. Oduwole? I can't remember her first name. She served in the last administration, and she was speaking about how when she wanted to go and she resigned from her work. She was high-flying, resigned, took a pay cut that was like, she was earning 10% of her income, and she was contributing financially to the family. So it was going to affect the family. And she asked her husband that, you are doing onshore, offshore. I want to go and do I have this goal. I'm going to go and do my PhD. And I don't want to do this PhD that you're not fully committed. So she had to travel. Guess what? The family with the children relocated for 3 years. She was talking about that. The husband had to make that sacrifice. That whenever is meant to, his 2 weeks in Nigeria, his 2 weeks off work was now spent in that country. It was a sacrifice. It was a pay cut. It meant that he didn't have that flexibility of free money. Every income he earned now went 100% into the family. For 3 years, sacrifice so that this woman can achieve her goal. But she was able to achieve that goal, serving in the vice president's office, cabinet office, and was talking about, this is what my husband did for me. This is why I'm able to become a doctor from this university. And it's because of the sacrifice on this part. So I hear that sacrifice per time that would have to do. But the growing together, if you don't intentionally watch one another, you will grow.
Put it properly, the mind needs to grow. It's not, ambitious growth.
No ambitious growth.
So your mind opens up from what you read, how you develop yourself. And we see that affecting marriages, where the woman is not growing or the man has outgrown, because the mind, things will come in life. Every time you're aging, I'm going to be 15 years in marriage by next week, Thursday. And a lot of things that we were in the beginning that I can't stand now. Yes.
As of as you have upgraded.
And a lot of things that I was in the beginning that my husband couldn't stand. I love chewing gum. You all know it. I'm addicted to it. I had to drop it in Ramadan. And even though I secretly still binge, but not when my husband is around. I quickly dump it because, So a lot of things that you do, mindset has to change. Mindset has to be more liberal. Sometimes you will say something like, I'll be like, but we used to say these things together. And I'll be like, no, this has to stop. So mindset, but not ambitious.
So I want to come to you, Ramatu. We've discussed, I made a long list that we probably would run through so that everybody gets, because if people, we said some things in passing, but I know we didn't talk about cross-cultural marriages and the impact of cross-cultural marriages, and even if you're cross-cultural background. So maybe you're brought up in a house. I was telling my husband that, see what you're doing, your children will grow up thinking this is the template for a man. That because this is you do this, you are the only man they know. And they've seen you all their life behaving like this. So in their mind, when they meet their wife, they would expect that my dad was like, my mommy did not complain because they did not hear our complaint. The complaint is inside the room. So they don't know what's going on. So that's how a man will come to the house and say that I want fresh food every day. And he does not understand why you feel that is a problem. Because when he grew up, the 35 years he spent in his mother's house, his mom was cooking fresh food every day. There was no complaint. So what exactly? And the woman was working, and she raised all of them very well. So why are you complaining? So let's talk about how to manage cultural differences and how you would prescribe, what you would advise we can do to help with those kind of situations.
Okay, so cultural differences sometimes can be a problem, but it's something that you can manage with effective communication. Okay, so you marry somebody from a different cultural background, I marry somebody from a different cultural background, right? I can educate you on how, what our customs are, what we do in certain times and all of that. Okay, so for example, there was this time I went home, we went to a villa, and then I was asking my husband, my mother-in-law, I was asking her that, there's this guy that got married to one lady, and they got the wife for him. And I was like, what was the criteria in getting the wife? She now said that the girl is hardworking. So for them, you have to be hardworking. What they understand by hardworking is you have to be working in a farm, and you should be able to, do very well in a farm and all of that. So those were the criteria they used in getting married to her, So, but those are the cultural differences for some people, and that's what some people use to, understand the same. Another thing again, patience. Patience is very, very important in marriage. You have to be patient to understand your partner. Patience is, there's no amount of patience that is enough. Some people say it's a lot. You can't measure it. You can't say, okay, I've been patient from now till this time, and maybe from now till this time I'm tired and all of that. You can't be tired. And that's why a lot of times most issues are never resolved. Sometimes just be patient, just give it time, no pressure. Most of us work under pressure, and then societal, this thing comes to play as well. We just need to just give ourselves, take a break, just reduce the societal pressure that's coming, and, you know.
I think that patience would make any marriage work.
Everything really.
So,
with
but that's the
patience.
patience that we don't really have sometimes in marriage. But I know that once we have it.
But,
reservation.
So, you know, as you were talking, I was just, you know, I just remember how sometimes you want to get married to someone from a different background, and your parents will say, no, never. I remember, I know how we call them. Oh, our parents are archaic. They are not forward thinking. There's nobody you cannot marry. This life is like this, and then you go and get married, and you two, you come out of the marriage shocked. And, you know, the thing is, context is important, history is important. So now, why do we feel we cannot get married to this culture? What are the things that they do that maybe may just be so against my values? There are some people that when they are married, it's okay, their mother can come and stay, can come and visit. There are some people that will not stand it. In fact, it is uncomfortable that you have your family come and stay in their house. You that you grew up, maybe it's your mother that brought you up, and all your life, this woman has sacrificed for you. Then they'll not tell you, she cannot come and visit. Or even if she comes, she'll just stay one day and she'll go. Auntie, I don't know what kind of patience, but it will jigger the house, as in a lot will happen. So it's important when we hear some of these things to understand why, and then, as you said, communicate beforehand. This is how we do this here. This is how we do this here. You know, it's in the Bible, it says we must be equally yoked, you know, and I guess, you know, it's saying spiritually. But I also feel that in a lot of things that physically and mentally that we do, it's important that we become equally yoked by talking about it, understanding each other before you go into that marriage. There was one time we had this former BBN girl. She came and she says, see, I'm Igbo, and then the way I was raised is that I can talk to my elders, I can look at them in the face, and I can, you know, and that she had gone to a friend's house who was Yoruba, and the fact that she was not looking down and genuflecting, immediately they termed her as a bad person. But where she comes from, she's not a bad person, it's just the way she was raised. She said for her, that cultural difference affected that relationship. So sometimes it's good to communicate beforehand, especially if, you meet each other in
you
school.
don't know.
But that's why you have to communicate. So that's why our parents come in, or those who are older than us or who have gone before us, tell us. I remember when, as a single girl, I used to say to this boy who was from Edo State, Benin, I was like, oh, I can't wait. When I get married, I want to get married to a person from Edo State. But he now looked at me, says, even my sister, that is Benin like me, does not want to get married. What is it?
And you ended up with a...
Let me tell you why. Because of the dressing, the beads.
Okay.
What did I do? That is it.
Something,
the culture, the history, oh my God. Oh, in fact, I feel...
God gave you your heart's desire.
And they tell me that I looked like I was from Edo State. I was so excited about... I was like, Auntie, do you know how they are?
Edo people, they run for Edo people.
Exactly.
Yes.
You don't know how they were as a person, but yes, I ended up with an Edo person. But, the thing is, the point of the story here is make sure you understand why you want to be in a place.
Some things as little as how many months before you do naming ceremony. Because we didn't discuss it. I didn't even think it was a discussion. Because I did not even know people wait months before doing naming ceremony. Like, I don't understand. When you give birth in Yoruba land, 7 days.
Yeah, 7 days.
You have done naming ceremony. But apparently, when you are going to the eastern side of the country, you don't do 7 days naming ceremony. They do 3 months, 6 months, 1 year. I didn't, it just didn't.
Yeah,
we didn't even discuss it until I had given birth. And my mother-in-law just expected that we'll be doing it 3 months when you are doing dedication. I said, no,
okay, maybe
I'm an only child.
Maybe yes, sir.
But thankfully,
no, 7 days.
I have a husband that was willing to communicate and say, oh, see, she's the only head of her mom. Her parents, everybody, she has born 2 boys for her parents. There's no way.
Why? Because for me, my husband's family explained to us, because for us as well, it's 7 days. So they said that in the olden days, what used to happen, a lot of children used to die young.
So you don't name them.
So you don't name them until. So they used to give them at least 3 months. At that time, we have shown that we are here to live.
We do within 7 days, 8 days. Yeah.
Okay.
So
I was going to talk about patience.
Okay. Our time has finished. You say it in one. Look, I've been gisting.
Just quickly.
All right.
So, when we use the word patience blanketly, that, it's not enough, it can never be enough. You know, patience repairs. We don't talk about it to be beautiful. There's a saying in the Quran that beautiful patience. Ask God to give you beautiful patience.
Yes.
Because patience, when it is not suitable for some situation, you need to address it. Some situation, you need beautiful patience for it, but not just any kind of patience. You know, some situations, they come in, you test you, you patiently deal with it, you manage it, but not for a long time. When you come, the word is, don't be indolent and call it patience. You know, you see something that is bad though, but you want to be called a patient wife. You are idly accommodating it.
I am going to apologize, please, to our YouTube followers and our Twitter. We didn't take your comments. We're so sorry. The conversation on YouTube is so rich. I just came there now and saw some things, and I'm like, oh my God. It's a beautiful conversation, but we're hoping that the goal of the conversation was achieved in that we understand good people can grow apart and divorce. But as much as possible, if we incorporate good communication, we do not take each other for granted, we don't do see finish, we're patient with one another, we listen to one another, we might be able to avoid this case of two good people getting divorced. Also, I love the caller that said internal and external.
I love that.
Yes, factors. Yeah. You know, deal with the internal factors and expunge external factors. Nobody should be getting divorced because somebody is interfering and you don't have the confidence to face such a person. As always, we are all in our good homes and happily praying that we continue to manage it, and we pray to have more, because the more stable we are as a family unit, the better the society we get to build together. So thank you so much for your contribution, for all our callers, ladies, and the comments that we did not get to take, but we read and appreciate. Enjoy the rest of your day. See you all tomorrow. Bye.